Hi friends, David here from Learn Christmas Lighting and Above AVL. And in this video, we're going to talk about putting together just like a really basic Christmas light show and syncing it to music. So what we've got here is we basically just have some of the basics out in front of us. We've got a prop with some pixels in it, some of our MBG pixels. We've got a controller here. We've got a Genius Pro 16 right here, but this could be just a regular Genius 16. It really doesn't matter in this aspect. We've got a prop, this EFL Designs mini spiral tree that they left at my booth once at one of our Christmas minis. And we've got our computer with XLights hooked up. And so we're going to walk through like some of the very basics of getting going and just putting together a really quick show with music and walking through the steps if you're brand new to this, because honestly, it can be really confusing and hard. And I think if you just look at like a really basic example like this, it's going to help you understand the steps that exist and how to work through them so that when you're putting together a full display and a show, you find that it's going to be a lot easier. So what we're going to do here is simply put, go through the process. So first things first, I've got my prop here, right? Prop, yay, prop, yay. It is mostly pushed and it is a 50 pixel prop. And then I have 50 loose pixels that we're going to just say is like a house outline. We're just going to put it in a single line. And so what I'm going to do is I want to push these last couple pixels because this prop is mostly pushed in with our NBG pixels. We want to push the last few. And so with bullet type pixels, the old school kind, you really have to pound them in there, and it honestly hurts your fingers. I really like our NBGs, and they're a reason why they're our top pixel, because it's just a simple push and turn. Now you can see it's on the front side. It's ready to go. Where's the camera? There it is. It's punched in. Next one, little push, little turn. Most of the time, that's all you need. Just slide it into the little notch and turn. If your Coro prop that you buy does not have the little notches on the side, then you could just push it through. And it takes a little bit more force, but it's not bad, especially with the flat back of the NBG pixels. Really easy to push in. So that's going to be your first step is, getting your props, in this case, just a 50 pixel mini spiral tree from EFL Designs, getting some pixels. These are 12 volt pixel. So we've got our straight line and we've got, our spiral tree. Next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get a controller handy. So this, as I mentioned, is a Genius 16 from XLights, one of the ready-to-run ones, which we're going to have in stock soon and on the site. Hopefully, we should have them on the site for pre-order by the time this video comes out. And the really cool thing about these is that they're ready to go. They're just wired and fired and ready to go. So what I've done is I went and I plugged into my network. I just plugged it in via Ethernet. And the reason for that is with a factory reset Genius, which I just did, it is going to have what's called DHCP enabled by default, meaning that if you plug it into a router of any kind, whether it's your home router, whether it's just a standalone router for your show network, which again, that's deeper than we need to get into here. But inside of our course, the Learn Christmas Lighting Academy, you can get access to all of the information as to how to make these choices. But, basics is if I factory reset it, brand new out of the box Genius, plug it into a network, a router that has a DHCP server, typically a router. I know network people. I know that's not 100% correct, but it's good for beginners. So you plug that in and you go, okay, now we're good to go. And now we've got an IP address that's coming up on our screen. So we'll show you that here on camera 3. I can't get to it, but we'll show it to you. I'm back in editing. And it actually comes up there and we'll see it changes between Wi-Fi, a QR code, and then it tells us the IP address that it got. So it's 192.168.1.186. And then we're just going to go ahead and we are going to plug in our lights. So very important, 12 volt pixels, okay? You have the option of 5, 12, and sometimes 24 volt pixels in this hobby. These are 12 volt. I've got my X-Connect plug. I could use an extension, X-Connect extension. We try to keep them under 25 feet max most of the time. And then I go find my first port from my controller. Now this is actually a loaner controller from the manufacturer. And so I just have to double check because the outputs are not labeled, but they would be on a real ready to run that you buy from us. So it's first one is right here. So we'll go ahead, we'll plug that in, tighten up our plug. And so we're powered, we're on the network, we have our spiral tree all happy and healthy and wise. Actually, I'm just literally gonna set it in there because then it shows up on camera really nice. Ta-da. And then we're gonna go ahead and talk about the computer side, what we do over here on the computer to make it happen. But what we're gonna do here is when you first open XLights, it is not gonna look like this. Okay, you are going to have a window that says, hey, choose a show folder. So I'm gonna hit temporarily here. It would normally be a permanent show folder, but in this case, I'm just gonna go 2025 YouTube show. It can be any folder. A lot of people put it in documents / XLights. You can put it in a Dropbox or a OneDrive or any syncing service like that. You just got to be careful. Like with syncing services, typically everything's great. XLights does make backups, so you're typically really good. However, with any software in a syncing service like Dropbox, if you open your file up on 2 computers and you do stuff on one computer and then you don't close it, and you do stuff on the other computer, you can really screw things up. That's just across any computers, any type of software. So just be aware of that. That's why I save backups into my Dropbox personally, but I keep it all on one computer. But it is okay to keep it in a Dropbox or something like that, as long as you're not accessing it from multiple computers at the same time, or on one computer and it hasn't synced fully to the other computer and then you open it, that can create issues. But we're gonna just select a folder here, and then I'm gonna hit discover on the controllers. So this is just gonna go out there and find any controllers that are out there. Now, if you're doing this, a couple things. One is there's gonna be multiple stuff that shows up, and that's because I do all sorts of audiovisual stuff as well as this Christmas stuff, and I've got other items, namely these two, which I'm gonna delete because they are not what we're working with. However, it found the genius, it found its IP address, it's good to go. Now, I would say if you are doing this for a display, you really do want to go into your controller, okay? And you want it on a static IP address so that it's at the same place every time you get to it. That really helps with XLights when you're setting up your controllers. So in this case, I'm just gonna go to network, I'm gonna click off DHCP, and I'm going to enter the IP address that we've got it already set to. Okay, that the router gave this one out. Now, the better way, if you're a networking guru, would be to reserve it in your router. Regardless, all this network setup stuff, there's a lot of ways to do it. We have recommendations. They're all in depth in our course, that how to create your first Christmas light display, which is in the Learn Christmas Lighting Academy. So hit save. It's gonna restart. Nope, it was good. It just got, yeah, it's restarting now, and so it'll be back in a second. So while we're there, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to XLights, and hit save here, and go to our layout. So this is where we start working with our actual lights. Okay, so the first thing I've got is I have a single line, which we're going to pretend is our house outline. So I'm just going to drag one of those out. So I clicked up here, dragged it out. 50 lights, perfect. We're just going to leave this stuff down here alone. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a download. So that's any model that comes from a manufacturer, typically, like that EFL spiral tree, okay, from EFL Designs. So I just drag it out. EFL Designs, and then we go find mini spiral tree. I believe that's it. Yep, 50. Yep. So insert. Anytime you see a message about importing aliases, generally say yes. Then we're going to size it appropriately. I'm just going to rearrange things to how they are in my house. Okay. Hit save. Good to go. Now we need to get them working in our controller. So we'll go back here to controllers, click on our controller, hit visualize, and then we can take our models right here. This checkbox will hide models that are on other controllers. So if you have a lot and you've already assigned stuff, that's a good box to check. And we're just going to put our single line on port 1, and then our spiral mini tree. You can see here when I go to butt it up against it, see how I get that blue box? That puts it on the same port next up. So we're good to go there. Next thing we're going to do is hit save. We're going to hit upload output. And that's going to actually save this configuration to the controller. So the really cool thing about XLights here 2025 and beyond is that kind of once you lock in that IP address on the controller, there really is not a need to go open the controller web page because you could do all the configuration in XLights. So now we're going to go ahead to our sequencer really quick. Press new sequence. I will choose a musical sequence. Yeah, let's do that. And in this case, I'm going to go to my Dropbox and I'm just going to grab a sequence that I have in there from a sequence manufacturer and then thank them greatly for letting me use it. So we've got, oh, I do like that Visionary Light Shows Marshmallow World. That's a good one. So that means I've got to actually find the audio file for it, which means, nope, I'm in the wrong place. Usually this would be more organized. You'd put the music in your show. And what do we say was Marshmallow World? There we go. So we're going to pull that file in. I will not show the audio just for copyright reasons here today on this, but we could. But I think we'll keep it off. Generally, you know, it runs you through what to choose here. I'm just going to go 20 frames and then quick start brings in everything that you had already created, my single line and my spiral mini tree. Now, how do we get our lights dancing to the music? So we have our music here. We can click anywhere and it plays. Turn that off. So it's playing the music. How do we make the lights dance? Well, there's really two ways to do that. Okay. So one is that we're going to import a sequence. And this, I would argue, is probably the most popular way to work, right? The other is to just bring models in. And this is a good test. Like I'll just bring this bars model in. Okay. And I'm going to bring it onto those lights. And now we see we have it kind of dancing up and down. And then I could copy Control-C, Control-V to my spiral, and we'll make that one go sideways. And so every single one of these animations, of these effects, are going to have different things you can adjust. And a lot of them are really different. But just to give a demo, we'll now turn output to lights on. And now, as you can see, our tree lights up. And as long as you pushed the pixels in right, as long as you put the lights in the right place, what you will see is you will see, like with the bars effect, you see a nice animation going upward, okay? With a lot of models, especially those that are not from Coro themselves, you may find that, you know, the animation on the computer screen is going up, but it's going down on your actual model. In that case, there's what's called the starting location in XLights, and it allows you to have it start at the top, at the bottom, top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right, etc. And so all of these settings are ones that if something's not going the right way, you can just adjust the setting, fix it up. You don't repush your pixels. It is adjustable inside of the model. I did skip over. So when you are pushing your pixels, like this one was super simple, right? It starts at the bottom and it goes up. But especially in these areas where there's, you know, some turnaround, it's hard to know the order to push it in. A lot of vendors print on the back the order. That works. But also in XLights, we can actually get to it here. So we'll go back over here and I'll show you. In layout, I can go ahead and right click and see wiring view. Okay. This shows me from the back, caution reverse view. So you're looking at from the back, how you push the lights in, the order that it goes in. Okay. And that's really easy to see. You can just sit there in front of a computer, make it big, you know, and just go boop, 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 and Bob's your uncle. So how do you import a sequence? Okay, actually really simple. So you just want to go ahead, import effects, and then you go find that sequence. As I mentioned, mine's like in my Dropbox, David. And then what you want to do is you want to find the zipped version. Back in the old days, you would unzip the file. These days, don't do it. Okay, leave it zipped. Don't extract the files. Don't unzip it. Just as you download it as a zip file, keep it that way. Hit open. Okay, said it was at 40 frames a second. This is in 20 frames, whatever. And then what we get here, basically, the stuff on the left here is your stuff. The stuff on the right is their stuff. And if you have stuff named the same as what they did, you can hit auto map. Okay. Now you can see there, that didn't do anything because I didn't have anything with the same exact names. I'm also going to check this box that says erase existing effects because I had some, I don't want them. But then it's really as simple as just going and saying, okay, let's bring some things in. Like for example, I'm going to put the arches on the single line because, you know, an arch is essentially just a single line, but it's arched. And then this spiral mini tree, I guess I'll make candy cane 1. Normally you would have a lot more, but now we're going to go. We'll hit OK. It's going to warn you to save your mapping settings. So this is just the setting of how, you know, their stuff comes to your stuff. If you're going to be doing multiple imports from the same place that you bought sequences from, it's a really good idea to save it. Okay. But I'm going to bypass that. And so now I got a bunch of timing tracks. These are things that the effects use in order to do what they're doing. But then I've just got some effects on these particular props that then are outputting to my lights. And you can see that there, right? Now it hasn't fully rendered. So you'll notice like I clicked on this single line animation and for a minute there until it rendered, my spiral mini was actually showing, yeah, it's showing an old effect there. So we're gonna hit save. We're gonna let it render because when you save in XLights by default, it renders everything or turns the effects into the actual lights. And now it's running great. Everything looks really good. I'm just going to shove these both to the start just because. And so now we're going to go ahead and upload these to our controller so that they can play. Now, this gets a little more complex because the Genius controllers, which I do absolutely love, don't have an audio output. So you would actually use a FPP or Falcon Pi player device to play your show and then upload it there. And also upload the file to your controller, which we're going to do right now. Okay, so if I go, for example, to my Genius here, and I go to inputs, and we're going to say SD card, standalone animation. Oh, we must put the SD card in. All right, SD card is in. Hopefully it's happy. It's happy because we actually have a test sequence, which I'm just going to delete. Perfect. And then in XLights, I'm just going to go to Tools, FPP Connect. It's wanting me to save my changes to my sequence. That is a very good idea. It's going to find our controller. And the key here with the Genius controllers is just that I'm going to check this upload box, is just that it is in that sequence playing mode. If it's not in that mode, it doesn't show up here. Okay. So I'm going to check the upload box. I'm going to check this box, which says that we're using that controller. And then I'm going to check this sequence. These are just, it's just going to show you down here the last sequences you've opened that are in that folder, though you can go to other places and find them. Then we're going to go ahead and hit upload. When it finishes, it's going to go ahead and it's going to close it. Okay, so all those windows close. We see this nice message down here that upload is complete. And now we can go ahead, and this is the Genius interface here. It's just going to let us go ahead and play it. And now it's playing. And we're troubleshooting because something went wrong. I think it's mad because I had a animation set up in here. I'll see a playlist here that somehow, I think it's on the SD card. So even though I had factory reset it, it was trying to play a file that wasn't there. And voila, we still broke it. And this is sometimes how this hobby goes. All right, so once we've got that uploaded, turns out I had a bad SD card. Now we can go ahead and we hit play. Or play down here. And then what we will be able to see once we do that is, and then once we hit play, ta-da, we see the animation happening as it should on our lights, and we're off to the races. And so that's really it. Those are really the basics of putting together your first display, plugging some stuff in, you know, getting it set up in XLights, uploading a sequence, and hitting play. Yes, it's simplified, but you know, when you get a quick win when you're first starting in this hobby, it really does a lot for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then you'll really enjoy the Learn Christmas Lighting Academy. This is where we go step by step through the entire process. We teach you everything you need to know, talk about all the ifs, ands, and buts, and how to decide for your display. And then in our community, we have myself and other experts who can help you figure out when you've got issues, when you're trying to apply stuff to your show. We're here for you. We look at the entire picture, and we're paying attention to your display to help you get it right and learn exactly what to do. Then, when you need pixels, Above AVL, that's our store, is the place to get them. We appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you guys helping us grow. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great day. See ya.